Right, we got this interview here on the Tom Bilyeu show. It's with an individual named Kash Kahn. His website, thednacompany.com. In this interview, this doctor basically describes a genetic relation to chronic diseases that we face. I'm going to play a segment of the interview starting at about 1 hour, 17 minutes, where he gives us a rather startling revelation of the government's plan of enforcing gene editing transhuman upgrades. I'm not sure the true depth of this plan, but we'll just explore together.
That maybe one day gene editing will, and I can tell you something that's going to blow your mind in terms of what's happening at the government level for genetic intervention. Might as well just tell you now while we're on the topic. There was a bill signed that said that we're going to develop a new bioeconomic industry, right? Biochemistry industry. So bioeconomic is, I think, what they called it, which says that now that we know everything about the genome, we are going to treat it as software. Meaning that if we can alter the genome, we can treat it as a software update. And this is in writing by the U.S. government. This was passed a week ago.
Are we talking like CRISPR-Cas9, go in, edit the genome?
This is like, imagine you have your Microsoft software, and if you don't update it, you can't use it anymore. You need the update to be aligned with what's happening today.
Yeah.
So this is beyond CRISPR. This is beyond, and I'm telling you, I'll send you the article later. This was in writing, passed, bill signed, very quietly. Okay, I'm going to read you 2 paragraphs. September 12th, President Biden signed the executive order on advancing biotechnology and biomanufacturing innovation for sustainable, safe, and secure American bioeconomy. The bioeconomics I was talking about, a new industry that's being developed around human biology. This is what's actually in writing. To be able to write circuitry for cells and predictably program biology in the same way in which we write software and program computers. This is part of the bill, right? So to be able to write circuitry for cells and predictably program biology, which means we're now telling the genome.
Are they allowing that in humans?
Yes.
With the right amount of regulation, like I love CRISPR, but when I heard that in China, the guy was editing the genome to supposedly make the girls more resistant to HIV, but sorry, does it also make them more intelligent? My bad.
Yeah.
Like that was where I was like, oh God, this turns into an arms race. It gets really scary.
Yeah.
And so now we have to do, this is really interesting. We need to research it more. I don't want to overreact. I want to make sure that I go look at this, but just as a broad thing. So you have editing somebody's genome in a way that only affects them. And if they had sex and procreated, that it would not pass the change, kind of like cosmetic surgery. But then you have germline editing, where if you procreate, then it passes on to your kids. And now it's a forever thing. Now it can sweep through the population and exist forever and ever. Now, this is where this gets really interesting. So given that I don't know enough about this, I'm super intrigued that you brought it up. But people have already done things like make plants that glow in the dark. If I'm not mistaken, they've made cats that glow in the dark.
I didn't even know that.
I could be wrong about that. The plants I know 100%, and I'm pretty sure about the cat fur thing. Because
I don't know if they've made cats glow in the dark, but I'm aware that they've made pigs glow in the dark, and that's a rather old thing. They use the luciferase gene editing.
From bioluminescent algae or bioluminescent plankton, jellyfish, whatever, anything that has bioluminescence, you can take that snippet of the genome and insert it using CRISPR-Cas9. For those that don't know, it literally goes in. This is how, and you're going to stop me if I say anything that's incorrect, but this is how viruses work. They go in and they're like, clip a word, and they just insert something new in that strand, and so the little things that run along the DNA and execute the code are like, cool, make a new piece of virus. And so it just replicates. So it overtakes the machinery of your own cells and gets them to create the thing. So it's like you have a bunch, gazillions of 3D printers inside, and what a virus does is hijack that and tell it to print this other thing.
Right.
And so you can go in using the CRISPR-Cas9 technology, send it in, it will make a cut where you want it, which is crazy, remove that and either restitch it together without that thing or insert a new piece of code. And so you can insert bioluminescence, you can insert basically anything that you want. So there was something that Oh God. Now I'm not sure if I'm talking things that they are hypothesizing that they should try or that they actually did, but that you can take, I think this is real. I think they actually did this. They took goats and they edited their genes so that in the goat's milk, they made spider webbing. And because it was thicker, because spider's web has the tensile strength stronger than steel.
Yeah.
And so you could basically get this incredibly strong fiber in goat's milk.
Right.
And I was like, what is happening? So this gets weird so fast that,
So technology inherently isn't good or bad. Advancements
but
are
thinking
just
makes it so, as they say.
Exactly right. So now all the things we talked about, imagine that golfer that has the bad endothelium health, right? Bad quality hardware. If you can then go isolate and splice that, and all of a sudden give them the resiliency that the other people have that have the good quality hardware.
Yep.
You can eliminate cholesterolemia.
Oh God,
right?
But dude, are you freaked out by this? I don't know if I'm excited or terrified or a bit of both.
I am excited with.
It's a brave future. Indeed, it's a brave future. Kash Kahn also has his podcast called the Unpilled Podcast. It's associated with his website. He interviews various people who are public speakers, some business owners, medical people. He offers his own genetic test. It costs about $500. It provides additional information besides just the baseline polymorphisms that exist separating one person from another. We have reports produced about sleep genes, hormonal genes, genes that influence mood and behavior. Apparently there's practical advice on things to take to improve the condition, depending on what the genes show, if you choose to get this type of genetic test. I found a September executive order titled Advancing Biotechnology and Biomanufacturing Innovation for a Sustainable, Safe, and Secure American Bioeconomy, and the points of the executive order are listed. Scanning through the document, I don't immediately come away with the conclusion that the direct plot of genetic upgrades from human active genetic engineering as being a chief plot of the document. This does look like a setup for federal government regulatory structure around the topic of developing practices for genetic engineering or in the consumer range of activity. The EO itself is not an official congressional bill, so if there are any associated documents that shocked Kash Kahn, I would suspect possibly he may have mentioned them on his own show. Looks like he has a YouTube as well. Anywho, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Till next time.